Hello, and welcome to Common Sense Education's quick lightning session on professional development resources for teaching and learning. I'm Jennifer Ehalt. I'm the Pittsburgh Regional Manager for Common Sense Education, and I'm really excited to be here today to share with you all of the great PD content that we have to offer. I also have Sue Thoughts with me today.
Hey everyone, my name is Sue Thoughts and I am the Senior Program Manager for Common Sense Education, and I'm located in Los Angeles where I work with districts and with educators on professional development as well as on the Common Sense Education resources.
Good. And so Sue and I are going to work together with you today to really help you wrap your head around how you could change some professional development content throughout your district. And so we're going to be talking about a lot of different resources today. So I encourage you to grab a journal and a pen or paper, because there's going to be a lot of reflection points throughout this webinar to showcase, making sure you have some time to reflect on where could this fit, where would it be most relevant for your educators or for yourself. So go ahead and do that. And then we're going to go ahead and get started. So all of the information that I'm going to share with you today, I'm pulling right from our website. And so when you go to the educator website at commonsensemedia.org//education, I'm really pulling everything from under the professional development and advice. And so you're going to see, we'll go through classroom advice, and then we're going to go through training, and then other programs we have to offer. And so what I did was just screenshot a lot of the information, but just so you know how to access it later. So the first thing we're going to cover is the professional development and advice. And there is a section that we've titled Articles and Tips. The articles and tips are really fantastic because there's lots and lots of different
Articles and tips?
Yes. Topics,
yeah,
subject.
Lots of different topics,
Yeah.
Lots of topics that are covered within these articles and tips. So This is formerly our blog, is that correct?
It is correct. And so they kind of curated it all in one place where you can just choose the topic that you're interested in or are looking to learn more about.
Perfect.
And I have them listed here in the red box there. Those are all the different topics we have. And for example, I just chose digital footprint and identity, just to show you where it takes you after that. And so here is where you can get a whole list of where you can scroll down and find all kinds of different topics. This one here, I highlighted Instagram, middle school, and digital citizenship.
This article is great because it really highlights one teacher and about how they use Instagram within the middle school and her practices around that, around developing digital citizenship and identity.
I know, I read this one because this is our most recent one that we pulled. So it is a really great article. I think they all offer some type of story or example or best practice, which I think is really helpful. And this doesn't take a lot of time, to kind of push your learning, try something new. I think these can offer a lot of great different aspects to consider. So think about how would you
perspective.
Yeah, exactly. Which I liked. And so, if you're a listener, maybe jot down something that resonated with you, or, how could you see yourself reading a 10-minute read, out of some of these topics and transferring it to your classroom.
Or more importantly, I think, how do you find time to seek this out and put this into your practice, right? How do you go and maybe you are searching for these articles, or maybe you have it bookmarked and you're pulling it out in line at the grocery store, or you're pulling it out while you're waiting for your kids to come back from class or something like that, right? If you've got 2 minutes, here is your list of curated articles that you can pull in.
Yep, absolutely. The next area is I want to showcase our monthly webinars. We run monthly webinars through our EdWeb platform. If you can't catch us there, we archive all of the webinars that we do. And as you can see here, the red box, I kind of highlighted the 3 topics that show up first on our site. So we have one around bringing international investigative journalism into the classroom. There's one on cultivating kindness, with the foundation of DigCit. And then we also have Footprint, helping students manage their online reputation. So all of these are really good because I love the idea that most have a invited guest into the webinar. So while you're getting a lot of common sense content, resources, and advice, the better part is you're getting advice and best practices from an experienced educator, administrator, community partner, or person in the field that can offer a lot of good, information around different topics. So the topics range from everything, right, Sue? I mean, they have things from SEL to
The
bullying.
news literacy to implementation with digital citizenship. And so there are archives for all of these EdWed webinars, and they're fabulous. I try to catch them as often as possible. And my typical time for watching them is while I'm cooking dinner, right? I set it up like while I'm chopping, while I'm cooking, I have the EdWeb, running and going in the background. And so I'm just kind of, watching with one eyeball and listening while I'm doing something else.
Exactly. Multitasking is what we do at our finest, right? So yeah, check these out. I've seen a lot of school districts, especially in the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania region, where teachers have to earn like Act 48 credit professional development hours. These are an hour long, and you can work. I've worked with a lot of districts where they've offered those credit hours then, because you do get a certificate at the end of it. And so you can print that out and then tie that to your PD hours. So Sue, I'm sure that that's similar across the board with different states with teacher initiatives or educator initiatives around those professional development hours.
Right. So you are able to print out a certificate at the end of this, at the end of completion with any of these webinars, and use that for whatever your needs are.
I also think too, I've seen some teachers turn these into like quick, we talk about book talks a lot, so to read the article or put it part of your like staff meeting, like maybe they have to have your staff read one of or watch one of these and then come to your staff meeting and have just a few questions around it for the first 10 minutes or the last 10 minutes.
Sure, and use this for your PLN that you're developing at your school, specifically if there's a topic that is pertinent to the work that you're doing or the initiatives that you're trying to push. How can you get your teachers to think about using this as a tool for furthering their learning? Right.
Exactly. So these are probably one of my favorites. I mean, there is a lot of good stuff within these. So yeah, jot down, some of the thoughts or ideas that maybe we shared or what's come to your mind in your journal so that you have these ideas for later. So this is all about the webinars. Next up, we have, I just wanted to highlight our digital citizenship curriculum training. This is really good stuff too. If you have anybody that's new within digital citizenship and not too familiar with our curriculum, these are just great 1 hour video webinar trainings highlighting our curriculum and hopefully at the end building confidence for your educators to go into the classroom and then teach it. And so again, 1 hour, not much else to say.
Right. Well,
either, it's just a matter of getting that content to your teachers in a simple way.
I think especially if you're a district who is asking your teachers to teach common sense digital citizenship curriculum, one of the things that's really important is you need to give everybody a why. Why are you doing this? Why is this important? How does this fit into the lives of your kids? As well as how, right? How are you going to find the resources? Where are you going to pull them from? How do you go through a lesson? What do these lesson plans look like? And I think to start with this online tutorial that folks can do at their own convenience is really a great place. If you don't have the staff to run around and deliver the why and the how, then here is your digital version of this.
Yes, good stuff there. So yeah, you might want to just jot down that we have this, right? If you're note taking or thinking of ideas or maybe thinking who would benefit from going through this, that's where these ideas will be pulled in now. And next up is our brand new privacy course. We're really excited.
This is the curriculum training.
So
just to point out that the curriculum training that we just showcased is on the Nearpod platform. So it's at the self-paced Nearpod platform. So it's just a clean interface. It's really easy to use. And this will also be updated with our newest content very soon. So if it hasn't been already, then it will be very soon.
Right. And this is just the outline so you can kind of see how we drive the hour long time. And now I got too excited too soon. But yes, we have Protecting Student Privacy, a course for teachers. And so this is, again, a really great course to put your educators through. If you are looking for something around privacy for professional development for your teachers, this one would be one to take a closer look at. And again, self-paced, incorporated video and activity and reflection throughout. And then you can kind of see on the side there how it's laid out as well.
Right. So if you're a district who's very concerned about student data privacy and making sure that your teachers understand what their responsibilities are when it comes to handling student data, especially if you have a lot of tech and if you have a lot of back end where your teachers are collecting student data, they have to understand what the laws are and what their responsibilities are for making sure that it's well protected.
And I went through this one myself, and I did feel like it had a balance to it where it wasn't, I didn't feel scared. At the end of it, I felt, more prepared in the decisions I had to make within my classroom around the privacy information and content. So I didn't know how you felt, Sue. It was
But
written very nicely.
I think that sometimes there is a lot of fear that is put out about collecting student data or how to use technology tools, and teachers don't want that responsibility, or completely the opposite, where they're just like grabbing every app and they have no idea that they have any responsibility for student data privacy. So, you want your teachers to be empowered to be able to use the best tools to bring technology into the classroom in responsible ways.
Exactly. So yeah, keep this one on your radar. This is a good one when you have an opportunity to incorporate something a little bigger within your professional development. And then next, we're going to talk a little bit about our ed tech reviews. I think these are really important too. We rate and review ed tech tools for the classroom, and so digital tools for learning. And the cool thing about this is not only does Common Sense give it a rating, but teachers and educators in the field also rate them. And so you can learn everything and anything about all the digital tools that you're considering or seeking out for your classroom. So I'm showing you an example of how we've curated top pick lists, and what we mean by top picks are, highly rated digital tools for the classroom. So you can see our curated topics range from, elementary, middle, and high, and then across content areas, across skill areas. So you can see here ELA tools, vocab games, real science things. We
Maker
also have
spaces,
makers,
right.
creators, everything and anything you could possibly think about in terms of a topic or a subject that you want to embrace in your classroom. More than likely, you'll have a curated top pick list to choose from. And a lot of them, when you pull it in, like if I pick the 10 best ELA tools, it is around a list of 10, the top 10 or 12 that you can work through. So just a guiding path to kind of steer you into some of the better tools to consider, depending on what you're trying to do in terms of a goal for your classroom.
Absolutely.
So in terms of, professional development resources, I've done a lot of professional development where I've incorporated this with my educators, and I think that they just find it to be so useful to have just some time to go through and kind of see the layout, find a couple of tools, and then go out and try them. And so I think giving educators time to research a tool and go try it as part of a PD, section or session, this is a really good way to showcase digital tools and make it comfortable.
Yeah, and I think just being able to see the pros and cons of the different tools and seeing them lined up next to each other and why you would use one thing over another, that's really something to consider as you're getting started.
Exactly. So those are our ed tech reviews. And then here's just an example of one I pulled in. This is Scratch Junior, just a screenshot. As you can see, Sue talked about pros and cons. We talked about what it's great for, the grades. So if you're not familiar with our ratings and reviews, I would definitely check them out. I think it could be super helpful for your classroom. And then the next thing I want to talk about, we're not going to go very deep into it, but how to earn Common Sense recognition. I know Sue and we both have lots and lots of districts that have earned Common Sense recognition. We've also had a lot of schools earn Common Sense recognition, which both of those really take a lot of planning, maybe through an initiative, or it's just a bigger undertaking, as opposed to just yourself. If you were interested in just becoming a Common Sense recognized educator, which we're really inviting all of you to do. It's a good thing to have under your belt with being comfortable with digital citizenship and really weaving it and making it a part of your classroom. So I just wanted to kind of let you know a little bit about what that means, So who is a Common Sense educator, right? Sue and I work with lots of educators across the nation around this, and we have lots of schools and districts having every educator go through the process, which I think it just is a great way to show your commitment, right? And I talk a lot about, I'm saying educator, but as you can see in the green here, it can be an administrator, a tech coach, a librarian. Like, think of all the, whatever role you play, you can more than likely meet the criteria to become a Common Sense educator. And so showing your commitment's one thing. Why become one? You can earn a badge. The badge is over here on the side there, which is really cool, right? And then, you're really taking on that role and that responsibility to help students, right? We want to make sure that they're thinking critically and they're responsible when they're learning and creating and participating in classroom lessons or, and social media platforms or whatever the case may be. And then the confidence builder, I think, is really great too. As teachers in today's classroom, the tech landscape is always changing. So that has to keep us on our toes and being creative to make sure we're always, using a best practice and meeting the students where they are. So Sue, I've had a lot of success in my region. How about you with
becoming, certainly. I have some
Yeah.
districts who are asking all of their educators to become Common Sense educators. And so that has been where they've provided professional development time in order to be able to dedicate some resources to helping teachers become Common Sense educators. I also have a lot of districts who are just celebrating those that take that initiative on their own and really trying to embed it within the professional development system of their district. So they have other opportunities to earn badges or credentials using other systems, and they just put Common Sense education and that whole system of recognition right alongside those other learning opportunities and those other badges. So so it's been great to have district support.
Definitely. And so you're probably wondering, okay, what does this take? So I just tried to break it down very quickly. Like I said, we have another webinar that explains how to do all of this, but we just wanted to showcase it in this webinar in particular, just because it is a PD opportunity. So really, it's just 3 different steps: learn, do, and reflect. And when you're learning, you're just choosing 2 different professional learning opportunities that level up your teaching practice. So that could be
like the ones we just talked about.
Exactly. All the stuff we just talked about, like teaching a lesson, and, watching some of the webinars that we've showcased. And then your do activity is, build skills that engage your students. So that do would be teaching Common Sense lessons or a whole list of different things that you can try out. And then the last piece is reflecting, and you just reflect and share some details on, how did this experience impact your professional growth and your classroom culture, and what made a difference to you as you went through this process. So not real difficult, but it is a little bit of a time commitment. But we invite you to take a closer look. We would love to have you on our list of educators when it comes to showcasing and supporting Common Sense resources.
If you're doing it anyway, right, then all it takes is just filling out an application and doing the reflection. If you're already teaching the lessons, if you're already watching the webinars or, doing any of that, then by all means, this is just one more step.
And the application's super simple. I think it's 5 questions?
Very easy.
Not a very long application at all. It really is just exactly telling us what you did. So something to consider. So as Sue and I showcased a lot of different content, opportunities. I also feel like there's a lot of stuff in here that can be relevant to a lot of people across the K-12 classrooms, something for everyone, so to speak. And so here's an example of monthly PD topics that I had a district create in my region where, 10 minutes each, they just kind of would pull in the month here, on the left side here of what they would want to accomplish with their staff at a staff meeting. And so the first month, getting back to school, I think this was, they wanted to talk about digital distraction. And then they had some resources that they suggested from our app, our curated app lists. Another topic was communication with parents. And so a lot of the different things that we discussed, you could probably pull out and customize, a year-long or a semester-long PD topic that you could showcase either in staff meetings. Some people have like Tech Tuesdays, department meetings. Sue, have you seen any of this used in your districts or something like that?
I will tell you that the most of what I've seen is showcasing through newsletters, but also through Tech Tuesdays as well, or through other forums or through, maybe your PLNs get together and you're showcasing some of these pieces as well. So the important part is that they've planned it out. And they've thought about it, and they've thought about things that are relevant to their teachers and to the things that they're going through at that time of year. And how do you make it support the greater initiative that you have going on within your school or within your district? So it's not irrelevant, right? It's not something that's just another piece of information, but it's going to help you achieve the goals that you have as a district or as a school.
Exactly. And don't think of this as one more thing. as you're thinking about stuff in your journal and reflecting, think about how you already participate in PD, or how do you already plan PD? And how could this be woven into some of the things you're already doing? So take a minute and think about that too.
And I like to also think about how you can do it kind of, in your teacher's time, right? This isn't about necessarily coming together and doing this together, although that's always great to do something together, but not everybody has the time to dedicate to that. So how are you sharing these resources in alternate ways that allow teachers to do this in their own time?
Exactly. And then up next, I wanted to share, we have an educator newsletter. If you're not already familiar with this, this newsletter comes to you once a month, and it's a great, timely, seasonal newsletter with content that for your classroom. And so, for example, I shared this one with you. This was our latest one. So I had to screenshot it in two parts. So this is the first part. We just celebrated, top apps and websites for school libraries and media centers. So you can kind of click out to that article. And then the next one, the bottom half, a great post on why librarians are more important than ever right now. I read that one because it was filled with so much good information and advice and just things to think about.
Because we were celebrating librarians last week, right?
It was great. So like when I talk about timely or seasonal things, we do try to think about what's happening in schools each month and give you these resources to support that particular initiative or event or celebration.
And so if you wanted to sign up for the newsletters, if you haven't already signed up, the link is right there, commonsensemedia.org/newsletters, and that will give you the newsletters, parents and educator, that you can sign up for.
Yep. I love these. These are one of my favorites. Just kind of keeps us in your inbox and keeps us, keeps some of the digital citizenship content and topics relevant and like fresh. And then Sue is going to talk to us a little bit about some district-wide communication opportunities.
So our content editor, our communications person, Erin, has been kind enough to create a monthly set of featured resources that districts can receive. And so they receive it in this spreadsheet form. I know this looks like a lot of information, but what she does is she curates a list of topics and articles, as well as descriptions that districts can use when they place it on their school website or on their school newsletters. And so this is a way for a district to communicate some of these same ideas out and share some of these resources out. So, and I just wanted to share with you, the next slide is a picture of how one district, the district I worked with here in LA, Los Angeles Unified, has taken those curated resources and put them together. So on the left, you see that they put them into their monthly newsletter from their instructional technology initiative folks. They take those articles, they have them linked, and then they have the description in there with a little screenshot. And then in addition to that, in their newsletter, they also celebrate their Common Sense schools that have become Common Sense recognized. And then they also have a list of their Common Sense educators. So it's all within their newsletter that also contains great curated content from places like ISTE, or celebrates their computer science information. And so, all of their achievements are all kind of listed in one place, along with some of these professional development resources that they're trying to share with their folks. So, so it's a great resource for all of their schools.
I absolutely love this. I mean, talk about, having great information to incorporate. I don't know that, talk to your communications team or whoever runs the newsletter for your district, because this is really good stuff that I know they would love to include. Not that we have a hard time finding stuff to include around our districts, because I know there's tons of information that goes out, but this stuff is good. It's already ready for you, right? You just kind of insert it into the newsletter.
So how do they get on this list, Jennifer? Do you know?
Yes, they can. If you're interested in getting on the distribution list, you can go ahead and email me at jehalt@commonsense.org, and I'll make sure you're connected to Erin and making sure you get on that list so that when that goes out, you're a part of that.
Right.
And so I hope that, you were able to capture a couple of ideas around professional development when it comes to digital teaching and learning. Please share, some of the ideas you have with yourself, your colleagues, or whoever runs your professional development at your district. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks.
Bye.